the interface is telling us, gentlemen, that we are live, that we are now racing across the internet to YouTubes all over the planet. Nobody's watching though, so it's fine. It's Thursday. It's the Mattriaichy. I am joined today by no Mats at all, but by Captain Cummings and the ever chipper Twitless.
Hello.
And we do have a special guest who is not here yet, but we're starting without him because that's how I roll.
Well, if you're not fashionably late, then I mean, really, what you're doing?
I just was like, let's just pull the trigger on the show. Let's get the thing going. We have things to talk about, right? So Captain, what comics have you been reading lately?
Which one?
I could come up with a topic. What comics have you been reading lately?
Yeah, well, I guess I read Soul Finder. I've been reading Silver Surfer. I got the omnibus with Bashima and Stan Lee, and that's like very underrated. I know the people that know it like love that comic, but I don't think is it like critically acclaimed among everybody or anything.
Nope. Very much.
I recommend it. Like every single issue has been like fantastic, and I just read the one with Spider-Man, and of course that one was just Spider-Man, Stan Lee Spider-Man.
Cool.
You can't go wrong.
Sweet. Twitless, what about you? What's been on your list these days?
Oh, let's see. I read. I went to Walmart and picked up Red Rooster.
I saw Red Rooster today because I was at Walmart.
Yeah. I actually have a funny story. Give me a second, because I had a whole like saga of Red Rooster.
Okay. Well, while you're telling that, I will say that I was one of the original backers, and mine came in the mail today, but and I'm gonna probably do a video review of it when I actually sit down and read it, but I haven't yet because last fall, Mitch, I approached him on Facebook about the whole deal, and I was just like, "No more good press, just good comics," and he refunded me.
So he still sent you the book on accident.
Yeah, he still sent me the book. And I was just I feel like I have to read it after that. But at the time I was just mad. Well, I ended up commissioning some art from like Carlos Rodriguez, which I haven't done anything with yet because I'm just so far behind stuff. But anyway, Twitless has a story.
All right. So this was my journey to Walmart to find Red Rooster. So one of the first things I wanted to point out was the fact that, and this is something that I think hurts comics, is how the price point for Red Rooster is like was it $4.98?
Yeah, I think it's $4.98.
Yeah, at Walmart. So that it doesn't help that you can walk right into Walmart and like right near the entrance you have the for $5 you can get like a VeggieTales DVD. What was really funny as well was the fact that my Walmart story, it was so typical of Walmart. So I haven't been in Walmart in like 2 years, and every single cliche of Walmart happened within about 5 minutes of me walking in the store. So it starts off with, the Walmart greeter, right? Except we're in COVID time, so they're freaking wearing masks. So they look more depressed than usual because they can't even fake a smile and say, "Welcome to Walmart." They're just wearing that mask, so you just see their depressed eyes. So I walk into Walmart, here's the Walmart greeter wearing the mask and soulless look in their eyes. Then I'm looking for Red Rooster. I'm thinking, okay, in theory, it would be great if it were around the entrance, but no, I just find Larry the Cucumber.
Did you have an entry person where Red Rooster was?
I did not ask. No, I didn't feel like I could trust the answer. I'd be like,
what's a Red Rooster?
Yeah.
Maybe like it's over by the deli. That's where all of our chicken is.
Well, it didn't also help that I went to the Mitch needs to go and talk to whoever it is who curates the online information. Because if you look up Red Rooster on Walmart.com, it'll say we don't have it available anywhere, even though it's in the store. So like something screwed up with the online.
It's online stuff. So yeah, it's because Walmart isn't selling it. That's part of the deal. I mean, like it's like Coca-Cola, where they have a separate distributor that comes in and does the thing.
Yeah, they're really not helping at all.
Yeah. It's a horrible system.
So so then I went and I was looking around, and this is where comics should be, which is near the checkout line, where where you sell the little. This is where you have the Super Mario toys and the Frozen toys. Oh, no, I didn't go to check out the cigarettes, although that might have been.
Oh, I thought those were little cigars. Never mind.
No.
But, perfect.
I mean, in theory, that might not be a bad spot for them, but I mean, it was just like strike one, can't find it on the store, because if you're trying to sell a product, and I actually think that Mitch is on the right track in terms of getting comics into stores where people buy things and can walk out with them in stores they would regularly go to. Like, I think that's a good idea, but he didn't. There's like multiple like faults in this whole system. Number one, if I Google it and I try to find a Walmart near me that has it, basically the website lies to me. So that's a problem right there. I know he's losing sales because of that. Then I went, you know what? I drove past Walmart. I said, let me give this a shot. So then I started looking around, the checkout counters. I find Mario toys and things, can't find it. And then I finally went, okay, well, let me give this a shot. Let me go check out where the actual books are. So I go to where books are, and this is the very, very back. So I finally find the Allegiance art.
Oh, you found it.
I did, but you'll notice there's like this Lego Fun City thing that it wasn't the most well cared for display. And then the real punchline to this is is where it was located
by the bathrooms.
So
if you're gonna take a poop,
this is the actual location of the Red Rooster book. And that just, again, I'm just taking the piss here, haha. But it did make me smile. It did make me chuckle a little bit.
So you know where they are at my Walmart?
Where
they hung them up where the Nintendo Switch games are. So,
oh really?
You want a video game or the comic book? Video games like $60. Comic book $5.
That's so weird. I've talked to two people who said they were by the bathrooms, but it's weird that they would put it by the. There just seems to be a really haphazard placement for these things.
And like according to all the stuff that Mitch was saying when he first announced the deal, hey, Chicken Sith. The first thing that Mitch announced was supposed to be by the books, right? So the idea was that they'd have a sidekick that was supposed to be by the books in every Walmart, so it would leech off of the Scholastic success.
I don't know if my Walmart has books though.
Really? Huh.
Maybe they do. I mean, I don't know if people in my area know how to read.
The comics are perfect.
Yes, I get it, because like it was down the row from the Raina Telgemeier books, but again, it was so far in the freaking back. It actually took me a second to spot it, even though I was actually looking for it.
And the thing is, and those sidekicks are laying on the ground. They're supposed to be hanging up on a shelf. I mean, like that's what those shelves are designed to be. Sidekicks. They're designed to be fit right onto that thing. And so that's just like one of those. Like
I would love to have one of those things. Like,
yeah, that would be fun. I've got I walked out of the store when they were first doing the 100-page giants at the Walmart, and they weren't sure if it was going to take off, so they didn't have permanent fixtures. I walked out with a couple of the temporary ones. My 2 reed stack in the living room sits inside of one.
Yeah, really cool.
They're pretty cool, but that's like it's like whoever's their distribution, like they're not coordinating with the local Walmarts. In ours, like it was like for the first like 9 months they were in the store, right? They were in the electronic section, but they weren't by the video games where the kids stuff. They were like by the calculators.
Like so weird. It's
and then somebody was like, oh wait, this is supposed to be over by the books, and so they put it by the books, but the thing had been moved around so much, the red cardboard one, that it was damaged, and so it wouldn't hang in the sidekick, and so it was sitting on the ground, leaning up against the sidekick.
Good Lord.
And falling in on itself. So they just replaced it with the with the black one, and everything's crammed into the black one, and half of the books don't sit upright because they've been there forever. And yeah, it's I think the idea of the marketing is not like shabby, but like
they're on the right track. They're on the right track, but they're not at the destination.
And the price point. And
they should be sitting right by the Marvel and DC books.
Yes, they should definitely be. And I think there's a whole other thing.
I saw some videos with those guys like opening up the 3-packs, and I was like, man, I wouldn't buy these, but they look really fun to open. Like that's what those should be.
Right. Or you could I guess I think you could put them right next to some of the more popular books. It's not a terrible idea to put them next to the magazines, but the fact that the magazines are next to the toilets in the very, 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 very back of Walmart, this is just it doesn't help. I don't think this helps. I know I haven't
bought a magazine in like probably 20 years.
Well, so. I think the idea, right? If you were to have it perfect, it would be to put it where you put the Archie books.
Wait a second. Are you telling me this book has a dust jacket on it?
The trade version that the backers got has one. In the store, it's just a floppy.
Yeah, the store is just a floppy.
And the first edition, I mean, like the first book, the Red Rooster, the number ones of all of them, the cover stock isn't even heavier than the interior stock.
Well, they got stickers.
So and they all have stickers on them. So it feels like you're picking up a woman's world, a slightly heavier woman's world than it is actual picking up a comic. It was a whole thing. But here's part of my thing with the whole deal is I think you're right in the Archies, because one of the reasons that they need them up there is because you're wanting to attract new readers to comics, to Western comics again. This is what a comic looks like to a new reader. Right? They look like this. They look like this. They don't look like this. Old people buy these.
I think you could
the VFW.
I think you could get I think you might be able to get away with it if you put. I'm not sold on the idea that it has to be shaped a particular way. I see what you mean. I see the point you're making. I think if you put them where the magazines and Archie books were, at the checkout counter, at the eye level of, more people who are younger, right next to the candy bars, and if you priced them maybe a little closer to some of the impulse buy items, I think it would work better. I wish Mitch the best in this endeavor. I think that I think further refining of this process needs to happen in order for this to happen.
Our Walmart, they just they redid the whole thing. Like they moved the carts and put new flooring in and stuff. So and what's awesome is they put these new checkout lines. Everything's do it yourself now, self checkout.
Yep.
And the best thing, the thing I like is they have like a sandwich spot where you can go grab your sandwiches or sodas or energy drinks. They sell single beers. So like it might be like right beside that might be like the best place. Like grab a single beer, grab my Red Rooster, and I'm ready to go.
Red Rooster and a long neck. It seems like a match made in heaven.
I was so excited when I saw those single beers. I just went up and got like a Shiner Bock, and went home and then drank it because.
Yeah. So I would say Mitch should, in theory, he should, instead of trying to make a Chick-fil-A of comic books, because when you, I'm not kidding. Have you guys not noticed the amount of Chick-fil-A parallels there are to this book?
I don't know.
No, I'll bring it. Like I think Mitch is he's either trying to angle for a Chick-fil-A deal or he's a regular at Chick-fil-A. Because when you look at the color scheme of Red Rooster, the red and the white, that's straight out of Chick-fil-A. And if you take a look at the back, here, I'll go on cam for you a second. All right, take a look at this. That's like a Chick-fil-A logo right there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So
making me hungry.
If you're trying to, but if you're trying to go for this, whole, fast food analogy,
you broke me, Twitless.
That's the first time that
it was making the most ridiculous noises. Oh man, Specks really is missing out
That's
here.
the reason why he's got a dust jacket on the paperback. He's trying to.
Well, yeah. So if you're trying,
it's like putting a diaper around your chicken sandwich.
you got to protect it from all the juices that secrete out. But
well, I mean, and part of it too, like with the diaper around the chicken sandwich, I do have to go ahead and say that like it's the dust jacket. It's a die cut. It lets the foil come through. It kind of looks like something.
It's got foil on it.
Yeah. It's got the Red Rooster logo on the front of the trade is foil.
You know what the diaper's made out of, right? For the sandwich.
Oh, I have no idea. Is that foil too?
It's foil.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just adding to my conspiracy theory that this is in fact a Chick-fil-A marketing
So
strategy.
I think what he was trying to go with was the kind of thing like Matt Kratz has done with the Curie books, where they have what I think it's called a French cover, where it's paper, cool. It's a cardstock, but it folds over so it sits on a shelf more like a hardcover. But it's not quite a hardcover, and it's some French albums are made this way, I guess. I've never been to France. I just know what I read somewhere on the internet. So,
well, to go back to the point that Captain Cummings was making with the whole idea of, oh man, I could grab a beer and a sandwich and a comic book. Then what Mitch should do, because right now what he's doing is he's going up this angle, because on the Allegiant art, what do they call the kickers, the displays?
Yeah,
sidekicks. It says collectible comics. He's really angling for this whole, again, this Chick-fil-A of comic books, the idea, which says it's above the quality. I know, which is so weird. It's like, I'm going to sell this like high-end quality item at Walmart. He should go in the other direction and make the quality of the paper, I think, maybe a little bit cheaper, drive the price down, and then tap into that, hey, grab a comic, grab a beer, grab a sandwich idea, which would be great. That idea, I think, could work pretty well.
Well, and one of the things is with the number of units that he was moving, right? Like that's one thing you're looking at if we talking about the Alterna Comics model, right? Like they didn't move the number of units to make a huge. I don't know all their internal numbers, but it seems like they're not moving the number of units to make a huge profit that would elicit getting into those bigger marketplaces, right? They getting into the Walmart newsstands, getting into the Krogers, that kind of stuff. Their volume's not quite the same level, but if they were selling, but their cost per unit was fairly low, and I think their margins are pretty slim based on what they were doing with their partner printing program they had going. I'm not sure if that's even still a thing at all, but Mitch was moving the numbers to justify that kind of an expense, where if he was printing, if his costs were similarly low, I honestly think that he could have gotten that impulse, 250 mark, and really been able to move those books. I mean, because here's the honest truth. I was mad about them going to Walmart before they got into the backers. I was mad about the work not being done in 2019 at all. I'm seriously, but
you're not alone. There's a lot of people who are not okay with that.
I mean, in this perspective, that campaign started a few months before I started KU, and I graduated last semester.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely messed up on that.
But what I'm saying is what I was getting at with that is I was pretty mad at the whole Allegiance thing, but that Bass Reeves book looked pretty interesting, and I like the history behind it, and it got really good a review from Marmaduke. If that thing had been $250, I don't think I would have said no to it. And I have, but if it had been $250, I probably would have put down for that, even though I was angry. I would have been like, oh, that's Mitch. Well, I'll buy your $2.50 book out of that. You'll get that from me. Because I shake my fist like an old man all the time.
I'll get you.
Oh, Breitweiser.
Yeah, so that he deserves every bit of criticism he gets for not getting his book to his backers first. But the Walmart deal, I think that there's some good ideas there if implemented properly. I just think that right now it's not. Yeah,
no, I definitely am with you there 100%. the American superhero comic is in a lot of ways, I'm not going to say the industry is in problems, but the genre of American superhero comics has been absconded with. It's been stolen by the Japanese, and they're just doing it better. They're just doing it better. Here you go. Chicken Sin says I could pick you up for 50 cents at my Walmart. Mine's not on sale. I went looking when I saw you posted that. I was like, ooh.
I wonder. I'm gonna go look tomorrow.
Yeah. Honestly,
Pokemon Snap comes out next week. I might go check it out then.
Honestly, Chicken Sith, if you I will pay shipping for this. If you buy the line at 50 cents a piece, I'll get those from you. I think we follow each other on lines. Get a hold of me on lines.
Will that actually work?
I mean, media mail is only
yeah,
what, 50 or something, $3.
All right, good luck.
Yeah. 50-cent comic. Come on. I write an occasional web column called Quarter Bin Follies. I'll spend 50 cents on a comic. Sure. You can't get comics for a quarter like you could when I was little anymore, but I like the title, so I went with it.
Especially if it's got a 50-cent sticker. Like if I get that CGC, that's like a collectible that you can never have, 20 years from now, I have the Red Rooster 50-cent variant. A quarter-cent variant or whatever.
I hadn't quite thought of the appeal in that.
I hope that works. Yeah, more power to you, because it cost me, I think, nigh on $16 to buy all 3 issues, and it was like a gut punch. I mean, no fault to anyone. It was just the fact that paying $16 for 3 floppies is just not.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I've done that, in the last several years, because before I kind of quit buying DC titles. There just isn't anything that I really wanted.
Well, I quit buying new comics altogether. I mean, honestly, except for Kickstarters, because I like to pay $20 for a book instead.
Yeah.
Well, when
you get like 6 months late.
Well,
if you're lucky.
When you're spending, $10 for something like this, or
that's like the book of the year, though.
$20 for something like this. I mean, come on, look at these edges.
It's gold.
Come on.
I mean, that just makes that you just got your money back with that.
And I don't. And you'll get my Earthworm Jim giant, 160-page books over there on the corner. They're just. I mean, there's some people in the field that are making amazing books.
Or you could buy that Little Girl Lethal.
Did you did you guys see?
No, you can't. And I don't want to talk about that right now. I don't. I don't want to talk about that right now.
I got this one too. It's like that.
Why did you back it?
No, I didn't.
I
yeah. So cards on the table. I had several conversations with Jimmy off air. So we had a relationship.
Oh,
we weren't friends or close. But we knew each other.
Oh my.
So it's been a gut punch today, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. There is something twistedly funny that I can't deny, but I can't laugh at it either. So
wait, what's the funny part?
It's just there's an irony to all of it. That's
okay.
awful.
What's going on?
Oh, I don't know.
Girl.
We'll talk off air.
Oh, but it's gossip. It's comic book gossip.
I hate gossip on my show. I like talking about comics on my show.
Well, it's both. It's comic book and gossip.
Well, how about this one? This is the Flash, and the Flash has a comic in his hand. But Wildcat here. Is that Wildcat? Yeah.
Yes,
that's Wildcat.
He's trying to read the comic, but the other Green Lantern, he doesn't want anybody to read the comic, so he's stealing it.
Chicken saying Cody. Oh, I had to tell Cody to stop apologizing. He went into full. He actually went. Oh goodness.
Yeah, it's been tough, rough on him, and I get it, but
yeah. I hope he feels better soon. I did send him a message. I said, you'll get through this. I think he will.
He's such a passionate little guy. I'm not sure if he's a little. He's younger than me, so he seems little. I'm at that age where anybody under 30 looks like a child to me.
Are we children?
I mean, I'm like almost 40.
Yeah. So, but yeah, anyhow. So Red Rooster distribution. Actually, we're going to be talking next week on the show. We're going to that might even come up because we're having an old guys stream, and I know Twitless, you're on the list because it's a reprise. Sorry, Captain, but it's a reprise of the group from last month. So unless somebody drops out, which might happen, I can't remember who it was. Tyler said he might not be able to make it because he might have family coming in that week and he's next week, and he's not sure when they're getting here. And I told him, I said, listen, just tell them that some hairy nerd from Nebraska needs you on his show, and they'll understand.
Totally.
So, but yeah, we'll be how to fix comics, I think, is the reprise theme. So,
How to fix
yeah, and it's just talking about different ideas. We had Doug Ernst, and it was a fun show last month.
It was.
Yeah,
so those of you guys who missed it,
go back
and rewatch. It's fun. It's a fun show, and we'll have Hutch is super excited because he's like, I had a whole list. I can get more ideas out. So that's next week's show. I am double checking on the Facebook. I have not heard from the Specks. I don't know, man. Maybe he's not going to make it. We'll have to fake it some more. So
okay,
I don't know.
It's time for us to settle once and for all why Kingdom Come isn't as bad as Reese says.
Oh, hey, that's actually. What are your thoughts on Kingdom Come, Captain?
I mean, I haven't read it in like 5 years, but it's all right. I like Marvel's better. Marvel's is a much better book.
I agree.
I mean, I do like Kurt Busiek when he's not being
a douche.
Yeah. I guess I'll say I like 2000s era Kurt Busiek because that's when he has his head on straight.
Even 1990s Kurt Busiek, like the stuff he was doing, like the Ella, what was it called? Elementals or whatever he was doing for
that's a good book.
First Comics. Yeah. It's really solid. I mean, it's an X-Men ripoff, but it's a really good one. Right? I mean, it's all the same character dynamics as you'd have in the X-Men, but I mean, he did really. I mean, it was just he was a really, really solid writer on his way up, and then once he was Kurt Busiek, then he was like, I don't like the plebes anymore. They're idiots.
Well, he wrote, and it was around. I think it was around the time he was doing Astro City. But he had this interview, and he talked about his perspective at the time. Like I said, this was early, I think, 2000s. But he did his perspective on politics and comics. And he said that I really have no use for politics except for as a way to create an interesting story. So if there was an interesting political situation that would make a good story, obviously I'll use that because good storytelling is good storytelling. But I really have no use to be, I guess, political as so much. But that was around the Bush years.
Yep.
And obviously something very drastically changed in the 20-aughts because
something happened in 2008. That started shifting people's. I mean, I think there were moves, and I've told you this before. I honestly think that the minute Mark Waid got away with adding Kingdom Come into continuity at all, it started destroying the fabric of the DC universe. Because Kingdom Come is designed on the failure of the DC universe of all the heroes. Right.
I thought we weren't going to talk about Kingdom Come.
We never said that. We already.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
No, but I mean, so like, as a story, as a standalone, it's like, Watchmen, extracted from itself without having anything talking about the impact of it. Fine, whatever, right? In fact, maybe it's maybe better than fine. In fact, I just reread Watchmen again, and the reconstruction of the superhero archetype actually happens much sooner than I had remembered it happening. It's a slow burn that everybody missed.
I would argue it happens in Kingdom Come as well. I'm with you in the sense that that story is so metaphorical anyway. I wouldn't want it to be a mainstream story. I think you would damage both the canon of the mainstream universe in DC, and you would also damage all the good stuff about Kingdom Come when you make it part of the actual canon, which is what they did. So
yeah. I think I can give you that, actually. Anyway, But unlike The Killing Joke, which is just trash, full around. The only thing that good to come
disagree. I like it. And I like the movie, the animated movie, just to spite everyone.
Oh yeah, I see.
I don't think you could be the supervillain of the internet and not have that opinion. I think that's fair.
I'm curious to hear why do you like The Killing Joke, or is it just for contrarian devil's advocacy, or is there
comic or the
let's go with the comic, because at least the cartoon at least the cartoon has that the romance part, which is some people can enjoy.
The comic, I mean, I like Brian Bolin. I mean, that's probably the biggest reason.
Okay.
That's fair.
That's true. Okay. That's true. When you talk about any comic art, you do have to look at both sides of the things that make a comic, right? The narrative
I bought this
and
book
the art.
the other day.
Yeah. And
just because I go, oh, hot British girls. You know, it's a Brian Bolin cover.
Yeah.
I go, and then I looked inside and I was like, oh.
His work on Judge Dredd is pretty really
well, I mean,
this is a Judge Dredd book, but he just did the cover.
Okay.
You go inside and I don't remember who. Steve Sampson. And it's very abstract and like you're like, ooh.
Yeah. So but that is one of my things. I was like, you know, the art is good. You can't deny that. But my point with the narrative of The Killing Joke is that it's not a story, right? I mean, there's only one character, is what I mean to say. There's the Joker, and everyone else is just a cipher that exists merely to react to what the Joker does. And so it ends up, rather than being what I would think of as a good story, it's just a it's basically it's misanthropic with everything that it has in the end. I mean,
to be fair, like Alan Moore wrote it to not be like continuity, but then DC just does what they want and made it continuity. And the thing that's ruining about that story is you have these characters that people love, you know, Batgirl and Gordon, and they're just, you know, kind of ruined in that story,
right,
in a way that they can't be the same people afterwards.
Well, and one thing about that that I will say is that hello, Specks.
What's going on, y'all? Oh.
Not a whole lot. I want to finish talking about The Killing Joke for just a second because we were killing time before you got here.
All right, sorry by the way.
The one thing I do like really I'm gonna say I dig about it, but Batgirl as Oracle is so much of a more interesting and better character, and that has very little to do with The Killing Joke and has more to do with what oh my goodness, John Ostrander did with her in Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But because he took something that was an intentional throwaway and turned her into, I think, one of the most interesting and impactful characters in the post-crisis canon.
Well, and I think the 52 turning her back into Batgirl was a wrong mistake.
Huge. It was just a step back. Also, I love Stephanie Brown as Batgirl too. But
hey, so y'all talking about the Infinite Frontier?
No, just the Killing Joke specifically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, she's now back as Oracle, according to
she's both.
Yeah.
Have your cake and eat it too.
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't read that yet. But Specs, thank you for coming on.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I have to be completely honest about it. I did not completely read those comics yet. Last night was horrible, and I didn't get a really thorough job reading all of them, but
I did.
I did read the first issue and chunks of the second. And man, your artist does an amazing job of telling that story just with the images.
Yeah, man, I give him a lot of direction. Like I can draw myself, but I'm not confident, to put it out as a published work. But like a lot of it, I just a vision, I already see, and I just try to get him like incorporated, and it's a lot of touch and go sometimes, but like sometimes he got a whole different vision than I had, and it comes out better, So I mean, it's great. I'm glad I found it.
So this is this property. Now you're crowdfunding their third issue right now, right?
Correct.
But the property is your first like published comic thing. How did you get into doing comics? Has that been a long-term goal for you, or what's your story, man?
You know how like typically, you grow up and you like, oh, you like Dragon Ball Z, so you like try to put yourself or a character in Dragon Ball Z or make your own X-Men and like, okay, he's a mutant. This my character. I know I did a lot of that growing up and make little stories with my characters here and there, but I really wasn't had any dream or anything that I would be doing comics. So basically, it was me talking with my fiance one day, telling her what I used to do, and she like, I should go back and start doing it. And I think I started drawing on Inktober or whatever, and I started getting like good feedback for it. And I started thinking about my old characters. Then I read I was like, okay, I'm gonna start drawing these characters I made back in high school, and maybe I can get a job or do something for DC or Marvel. But then I read an article that said, don't try to write Batman because they already got people writing Batman. So make your own character like it was Batman. So basically, don't write a storyline for Batman. Make your own character like a Batman-like story. So I basically just took that concept and ran with it. The View himself, when I came up with him in high school, he was actually a X-Men. Him and his friend. You read the first issue. The guy who said he's DJing that night. Both of them were X-Men, and I just took them and created my own stuff with them. And I got a lot of good feedback from the images, like you just said, and the story. People really gravitating to the story, and I just want to go big with it. I want to go big, go home with it now. So that's what I got. 25 issues already written down. Just need to be drawn, and I got a whole story built up with it, with spin-offs, prequels and all. I'm just ready to get the ball rolling.
I was coughing and muted my microphone and didn't realize I had undone that. Yeah. Anyway, so when did you do your first campaign? How long have you been doing the project here?
I did the Indiegogo for the first one. I'll say I did it in 2019. I basically broke even, I guess you say. I probably had like 50 something backers, but it was nobody really in the comic book industry. It was basically just like friends and family that supported me. I tried to do a Kickstarter for the second one, thinking about where I got 50 this one, I might get double, for the next one, and it basically flopped. But I learned my mistakes and what I was doing because I was jumping out there without doing interviews like this or having any kind of blog posts or even correct promotion. And I was thinking I can post a link and people will go to it. That's why I failed. But issue 2, people who have bought it, they enjoyed it. So I'm trying to get them to return from the Kickstarter. And when I'm going a different route with that, I'm going to try to get returning backers back. I got something in my tier for them. just for them, because they supported me on book 1 and 2, so I wanted to give them some extra because they've been around for a long run, waiting 2 years for third issue. But it just I'm just ready to do it. Like I feel like I'm more experienced as an indie creator now than I were prior to.
Well, and one thing that I was pretty impressed with too, like I said, I didn't finish reading all of the second issue, but there was a big jump. And hang on a second here, my computer's being stupid on me.
Yeah, mine was too, man. That's why I'm on my phone now. I'll try to get Google Chrome to act right, and it wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but there was a and I hope doesn't come off sound like a jerk, but there was a big jump in the flow of the narrative between the first and the second issue in terms of the way the dialogue was being used and everything. I mean, the art I thought was pretty good on both, but it read and by the time you got to the second issue, it read a lot smoother, I think. You
think when you say that, is it like the progression in the story got better, or just issue 1 and issue 2 was different?
There's between issue 1 and issue 2 there's a difference between them.
Yeah. I had a letter issue. Like I want to make my books in a trade, so I might go back to issue 1, like lettering. But like it was a real issue back and forth getting the correct stuff with that. So with issue 2 and 3, I got a whole different person, and like you said, it's so much smoother, and I got an editor and all. It's just issue 1 was a struggle with lettering, and I just wanted to get it out there. Like it was like a month, like 2 months. I was waiting on like the letter to act right, and he just couldn't get together.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's the other side of the collaborative process is sometimes you get somebody who doesn't get the vision or doesn't not that good at what they do. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, like I'll say like my character's name is Chaz, and I'd be like Chaz said this, or I might forget to say Chaz said it and say the view, and he wasn't putting 2 and 2 together like they the same person, and it was madness.
Hey, while we're talking, do you want to share some promotional art or any art that you're comfortable with? Because I was trying to pull up some of it to show the audience. I don't mind pulling stuff up if it makes it easier. I just don't want. I want you to have full control there.
I mean, any of the panels you have, you and y'all can pull up. Let me see. I might can switch. Well, I can't show anything on my side, can I?
You can share screen depending on what you're are you on your phone or computer.
Let me see. Because I'm currently on the phone, but I got
that might make it trickier. I might see if I can pull some good images here.
Y'all more than welcome to show in the panels and pages.
Let me pull some. I want to pull one that really, really sells the comic for you, because I really think it's great to to put the face to the artist, to the art, to the creator, to comic, to concept, so we can see it all and people can really get excited about it. So I think I got one. Let me just frame this well, because I got the one where he's first using his power to create that grappling hook. So that'd probably be a good one. Let's do this. Sorry, I didn't mean to kill the flow of the conversation.
No, that's fine. I was. Here we go.
Yeah, see, that's with that, I think he used a grappling hook that time, and later on he also used like Scorpion does for combat.
Yeah, I saw that to get over here.
Yeah, so I'll just his he got the power of creation, so he can create anything that he knows like how it works. So like
a Green Lantern or something.
Yes. But let's say he wants to create a car, he doesn't know how engine works or the axles and all that stuff. So he may It may look like a car, but not function as a car.
But if it was Elon Musk, he could create a car.
Yeah.
So that's why he's creating, like swords and bats and weapons that are less, I guess, they don't have as many moving parts. Yeah, they're not as complex.
Well, and
he's not a trained martial artist, so he's not like pulling out like he does pull out swords and stuff, but he's not pulling out practical stuff like he will. He just would know, just being a 15-year-old kid, playing video games. Like he's the gamer, so he sees different stuff. So and the baseball bat, that I'm probably gonna make that his trademark weapon because he is a baseball player. So that'd be something he's very comfortable using, the ins and out of.
Gotcha.
So with coming up with the View, what were your inspirations for the character?
I'm a Kyle Rayner fan, so the Green Lantern. But when I first met him in high school, he was like Gambit. Like he had he fought with a stick instead of the bat, and I think I gave him a trench coat and some dreads or something like that, maybe braids at the time because that's about like 15, 20 years ago. So he was definitely highly based off of Gambit from X-Men, and now I would say he's more based off Casey Jones from the Ninja Turtles. So like,
is there any Spawn influence? Because at least with the green energy, it reminds me a little bit of Spawn.
I can say I never read a Spawn issue.
Oh, okay.
But I seen the movie, but no, green just happens to be my favorite color. So I mean,
okay.
That's why I use it. But
that's fair.
In the storyline itself, the colors of different energies will mean certain things. Like of course, his green, the green smoke come out of his mouth. And the how they use green because their powers are intertwined in a way. I just haven't explained it yet. The Silent, the guy y'all seen, Silent is a group, and that guy y'all seen at the end of the second issue is a member of the Silent, and their energy will be red. Mm-hmm. So it's just different colors mean different things in the story.
Gotcha.
But I never read Spawn, but I've been told the story I'm doing is getting pretty gritty. So I don't know, am I going in that lane of Spawn or what's going on?
I think there's a couple of similarities. Spawn had the some dark horror aspects. Did we lose Reese?
Yeah, he faded it out. But
okay, yeah. That usually means his computer has died, and he'll be in a minute.
Okay.
So I'll Captain, do you have any questions or anything?
Well, I haven't read it yet. I do like the art. I have one question: is DJ Pressure, is his likeness supposed to be Method Man?
No, DJ Pressure is actually he's a real life person.
Oh, okay.
Like, so the first issue, I'm in the music industry. I'm a DJ. I did a lot of marketing for a lot of artists in the South and Atlanta, Georgia, that area. But just doing this, like, I'm doing my comic. I read comics growing up and watched the shows and the movies, but I wasn't too into the comic book world to do a comic book, so I didn't know what to write, because if I would did something, this would have been a Spawn book or a Green Lantern book. So what I did was take elements of the story, like things I wanted in my comic, and start putting things that I know, which is the music industry. So that's why he's an intern at a studio as a musical engineer.
Right.
This is the element.
I see that.
Yes, yeah, that's the element of people don't talk about in the music industry, musical engineers, and something that he can meet these different artists at the same time, and that the two people in the first issue, Jacquees and TK Kravitz and Pressure, I just asked for a favor. I asked them, can I draw them in my comic book? You know, without any copyrights. Things hitting me, and I can I say little quotes of their song in my my book? And they say sure. And they love the artwork, they love the concept. They try to get me to do little animated stuff for music videos, but I couldn't do that of a favor because then the animators charge so much per minute.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, those artists in the first issue, they are actually recording artists that been on the Billboard charts and all that.
Oh cool.
I don't know if y'all familiar with, but hip hop. But the Jacquees artist, he's an artist under Lil Wayne, so that puts you in the idea why I had to get his say so to put in lyrics in the song.
Yeah, I like that concept because hip hop and comic books, they're like, there's like a huge history with that going like all the way back pretty much the whole time. I think like especially like I love the Wu-Tang Clan, but like half of their group has like nicknames of like comic book characters and stuff.
Yeah, they also have comic books themselves.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I actually have one of them back there somewhere. The Ghostface Killer one.
Yeah. Inside the Insane Clown Posse, I see ads on Facebook. They're getting ready to release a graphic novel.
Oh really?
They're a little too weird for me.
Is it about magnets?
I don't know what it's about, man.
I've watched some interviews with them and they seem pretty cool, but I don't know.
They're weird.
They're in a whole different atmosphere.
That's a very diplomatic way of putting it.
Yeah. Well, I've returned after my computer totally locked up on me. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I figured that happened.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what's up with this thing.
My money was on you forgot to charge it again.
Well, no, it was actually plugged in before because right when I turned it on, it was like, I'm about to die. So that's been happening, but it's I don't know, man. It's something weird. It's been, I don't know. I don't want to talk about my computer. We didn't come here to talk about my computer. We came here to talk about comic books.
All right.
So anyhow, but I had to shut all my other programs down.
I don't want to talk about my computer, but I had to shut all my programs down.
I'm trying to reorient myself, Twitless. Now, okay, so when the last thing I said, I don't know if anyone heard me, but the last thing I said before everything went black was I was asking if there was a particular inspiration for the naming of the character of the View.
No, it's just part of his powers. It was no real reason why I called him the View.
You didn't name it because of the talk show?
I mean, I probably watching it when I thought about it, like, hey, but I never gave thought. But in the comic book, it will mean something. By like how he got his name. But like when I came up with it, no, I just thinking like, oh, he creates things, or he sees it, so it's whatever in his vision. So yeah, call him the View. It was nothing like spectacular at all.
That's cool. That's cool. Not everything has to have some sort of like a deep symbolic meaning to it.
Yeah,
but I just didn't know if it was like from I didn't know, so I thought I'd ask because I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's different, but I mean it just.
So where you're
mind thinking that time, that's all it was.
Yeah, that's cool. So where you're from, is there like a big comic community where you're at, or is that something like where that you were able to plug into, or is it like, do you guys have local conventions, or what's it like wherever you are?
Well, I'm in Georgia. I'm from Augusta, Georgia.
Okay.
So like, yeah, we have. I mean, so on a map. So I'm in Georgia. So well, I live at Augusta, Georgia. I'm 2 hours away from Atlanta. Like 10 minutes from South Carolina. I'm thinking like an hour and a half from like Charleston, and like 3 hours away from Charlotte. So like getting these places is like basically nothing for me to go to. Like this weekend, South Carolina has a comic convention I can go to. Atlanta has several. I don't know if they back open this year, but they have a big anime thing they have, and I think a couple big comic conventions they have. In Augusta, we have a toy and game they incorporated with a comic showcase, which I think now they renamed it to Joe Fest, because they have Sergeant Slaughter, the wrestler.
Okay.
He promotes the I guess he's G.I. Joe as well. I don't understand what his involvement in the game is, but they changed the name to Joe Fest. So now it showcases G.I. Joes, because it's a toy thing.
I got to be completely honest. Like when I was a kid, that's the Joe I really, really wanted and couldn't get. Yeah.
So we have that. So I mean, I never been in comic book convention. I'm thinking about going to one this weekend, but they talk about the con crud on top of the coronavirus. So I don't know. I'm kind of spooked.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the con crowd is just is because people get so tired, especially when you're working a table. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
You sit there and you're on your feet for 9-10 hours a day, and you're talking to everybody who walks by, and you're like, hey, do you want a comic book? Because I got comic books.
Yeah, I did a virtual
and it's all about having the best looking banner.
Yeah, I mean, I did a virtual one like 2 months ago, and just not know what I'm doing, just copying what somebody else did and try to do it myself. And like, I don't even can imagine how it is, and like face to face, and like trying to reel the people in. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
It's actually kind of embarrassing. The SC Comic-Con is located something about an hour, 30-45 minutes away from where I live. So you knew more about it than I did, Specks. I'd assumed that they had just canceled them all because of Corona. So they're actually having it, but they canceled all the panels. So there's no panels. And you have to wear a mask the whole time. I don't know. How is this going to work? I feel like this is really going to kill the whole fun of conventions. You have a whole bunch of people at tables wearing masks, and it's like, come wear a comic.
Or the cosplayers already wear masks, so it's kind of and everybody just be ninjas that day.
Right, exactly. And everyone's gonna have to stay like really far apart. I'm surprised they're having them at all.
Like the South Carolina one, I just was talking about. I'm looking at the prices, and it was still doing like selfie pictures, $50. Like, how you gonna do that? We're supposed to be 6 feet.
Right.
Yeah.
So what they do is they get 2 selfies and they put them together in Photoshop.
Photoshop it, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
See, I was thinking they're gonna get no selfie sticks and come back. You just hold it in the air and just say, "Get behind me," and just get a good angle.
I forgot about selfie sticks.
Oh man, they're
gonna come back. Watch.
That would be amazing. It's like, no, look, it's forced perspective. I'll just look really big in your picture. Come on, you came here to see me anyway. It's fine.
Wow.
So you said one of the things you were talking about is you were kind of got into actually making comics because your girlfriend said, "Why don't you do that?" Was that something? So she's been pretty supportive of you.
Yeah, she's been pretty supportive of me. I mean, she just want me to make some money out of it, get rich off of it right by now. You know, it's been, like I said, like 2 years, but like the sales has been going up and up and up, and you know, and just like shows like this and other people reaching out, it's been going in a good direction. I'm just I just want to be. I don't know. I'm just really waiting to see what's happening. Like, cause I kind of feel like this is the exit plan. I probably won't be rich, but like I'm pretty sure I can be comfortable. You know, just don't have to work a 9 to 5. You know, I can just make a couple of hundred here and there. You know, and live okay off of it.
Okay.
If Netflix don't come with a movie deal.
I think after the MCU, everybody who's got a comic is hoping that there will be the next thing to hit.
Yeah,
That's been wildly popular. But
see, like you know, I'm coming from like the music industry, so you know I've been around artists. You know, they oh man, I'm gonna put $1,000 in this mixtape or this, that, and third. You know, I done seen people put a lot of money in it and thinking they're gonna get rich off of it, and also seeing people put nothing in it and get rich. You know, so like I feel like I can, if my sales get up and I just save my money, I can just create my own stuff. I can create my own pilot episode and put it out. You know, because in the music industry, the record labels and other things like that want an artist that already have stuff established. They already have the team behind them. They already have the fans. So all they gotta do is just give them a little boost up, and you know, in their chart.
Mm-hmm.
So my mindset right now is the same way in the comic industry. If I'm already got my team behind me, I got a production team, I got animators, I got a little fan base, and you know, I got, let's say my pilot episode gets 1 million views on YouTube. They say, okay, people are watching, people are, you know, he getting 10,000 views a week on this one little episode. Let's sit them down and talk about something. So I feel like I can use my own money to create my own work. I may start getting that knocking the door, or just stay, you know, independent, just get a little 10 cent per view off of YouTube, and you know, and go like that.
Yeah, yep.
Well, and the big thing on YouTube is selling merch. So you do T-shirts and all that stuff too. And
Yeah,
they place the T-shirts and all that stuff right on your page as you're watching the video. They advertise it towards your viewership.
I was gonna say Captain Cummings is the YouTube expert on the panel.
I watch a lot of YouTube. I can say that.
No, I was referring to the fact that you actually had a channel with subscribers, and were you ever monetized?
I mean, I was making like about $800 to $1,200 a month at one point.
Yeah. I remember making none at all. So
yeah, I was monetized. I recently just lost it, but since I was on the road doing like with these artists, so I was just filming the live footage from the shows and I was putting them on my YouTube, and I got monetized. But like so I was getting like money from that, just my live footage, and like I guess this artist, he recently seen his videos on my page, and copyrights kept hitting me, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, as soon as the record companies catch on, they'll like get everything or whatever.
Yeah, so they wasn't flagging me for like the video. They was like flagging me for each song in the video. So it'd be like 10 in one video. So YouTube was like, yeah, your videos is not what it needs to be. We're gonna have to take your monetization from you. I was like, oh man.
Dude, that's brutal. I had never stopped to think about that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
YouTubers are like super the ones that make a living on it are like super like hesitant about like any sort of, because I watch a lot of like workout ones, and they'll be looking at like a gym video or something, and you know, gyms always have music, and they're like, oh, I got to cut out the music before we watch this video. Because as soon as it comes up, boom, that record company takes all of the revenue from that video.
Yep.
It's wild. Like the artists that I do know personally, like they say like they get an email straight to their phone when like something with their name or something like that pops up. So like I know Instagram and Facebook does it for sure. Like they'll ask, do I have permission for that? You gotta put your name. And some of them told me they didn't see my name come up before and just, you know, agreed to I got permission to put it up. So I know like just record labels not caring. They want every little penny.
Yeah. Well, then also if they're signed, if an artist is signed, a lot of times they don't even own the song anyway. The record label owns the song.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I've watched a lot of the business things on the music industry. It's like pretty savage from my understanding.
Yeah.
On the business side.
But I think at the same time though, I think it's cool that you're talking about you know, building the comic on just like the indie band model, indie music model. And I think that's something that I think a lot of indie comic guys could do well to learn from, and not try to imitate what DC and Marvel are doing, but try to do more what, you know, garage bands do.
Yeah, like just like I keep flyers in my pocket, so like it's the same way like in the music industry. Like I just know like passing out club flyers and mixtapes. So like just, you know, walking around and working, I see somebody with a Superman shirt on, and I'll be like, "Hey, I see your shirt." And I pull out my flyer and be like, "I'm in my own comic book. You'd be interested in checking me out?" And giving them like, "Oh, hey, cool," because that's, you know, it's easier to approach somebody that way versus, you know, jumping in the Facebook inbox, be like, "Hey, here's my Kickstarter, you know, support me." And they'd be like, "What?"
That is so true, because I would be like, if somebody just emails me, I'm like, just F off, you know. But if somebody comes up to me like in person, I'm like, you know, at first you might be like, what are they coming up to talk to me? But then when they start, you know, interaction, then it becomes like personal, you know, and then you're more likely to buy into whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't had. I'm getting the traffic from them flyers. I haven't had nobody that I know of that, you know, bought the book from my website because of my flyers. But my local comic book shop, like, they've been selling out my books. Like every week, I stock them up. Like, so.
Well, that's awesome.
Going on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, for that, I just went there and like had the same flyers. I was like, "Hey, can you put these flyers in people's pull box for me?" And he was like, "Yeah." Put in everybody who's interested in the book. So I did that, and had one guy hit me up, and he bought 2 books, and he also has his own. He basically make comic book videos every day about DC, Marvel, Image, all of them, you know. And he had me on the show. Then it just started triggering and stuff. So I was like, man, I need to. Then I gave him more flyers. And then one day I'm buying comic books, and he's like, "Hey, you got any books for you can bring us to the shop?" I was like, "Yeah, I got plenty." And he's like, "Yeah, just give me the books, and I give you store credit, and we work it like that." So I've been doing that for like 2 months now.
Right.
Yeah, sweet. So the current campaign it hasn't launched yet, right? That's happening later this month.
It's probably gonna launch in May.
Okay.
I'm really just waiting to get all my colors back right now, and just then do it. So, you know, actually, you know, project basically done, and just waiting on the editor to do his part.
Cool.
I'm supposed to have something back this week, so if I don't do it next week, it's probably gonna be early May.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So you guys have the book completely done when you open the campaign, then, huh? So you can just go ahead and hit the print.
Yeah, like the book is done now. Like I can just show y'all the black and whites, but like it's done. And it looks like gorgeous. If I had a manga, I'll drop it as is right now. That's how well it looks to me. The artist he's been growing with me, so like his work has been getting better and better as well. So I can't find it right now. So, but yeah, he's been doing a great job. Yeah, I found it. Screen share. But yeah, he's been growing with me, so everything's been pretty good. It's my first time doing a screen share, so. All right, so
Oh, here it comes.
and you can see the artwork there, like
Oh, cool.
yeah. So it looks great. Like
Yeah,
he's
that's
on
pretty top notch.
like it's really a step and above. And like you see Chaz next to this female. That's the same chick that was in issue 2, and he was like, "What would Ketiara do?" And
Yeah, I
she's a
remember
ninja
that.
girl. That's actually her right there. She's I have a spinoff with her. It's gonna be a manga. I have that as well. I can show, but she's more like I can't think of the lady's name right now. She's more like the Shredder's daughter. So she's like that. She's a big ninja with a big corporation, I would say, behind her. So but he's friends with her because they're classmates and whatever. And 2 females at the bottom, those are I guess her top students, or I don't know how you would call it, top rowing. I don't know.
Apprentices or
Yeah, so they have storylines with several. You can't tell now, but the one with the headscarf, she's black, and the one on the other side, she's gonna be Asian. I haven't quite think that she's gonna be like a Chinese or Japanese type character, but that's another spinoff I have, and it just Yusef did a great job with the artwork. Just he's trying to I want it to be a comic book, but he sees that I enjoy anime, so he's trying to put little anime tidbits here and there, and it's really becoming like a hybrid.
It looks a lot more dynamic.
yeah, the dynamism on this piece is just ridiculously good, man.
Yeah, cause I'm growing like this right here. I wrote this in 2018, so now when I go back and do my outlines for him to do, the work, he I had more detail. I know where I was lacking before, and I can make it better now. Like and here's a manga. It's a different artist, but her name is Boots. And she gonna be like kind of like a mecha type of manga. But you can see her suit down at the bottom that she wears, and it'll come out her boots. And and so it's a spinoff, and the spinoff takes place. I don't know what issue of the View right now, because like my issues starting to blend together now. So I like before I could say it starts on issue 15, but now like issue 3 is really issue 3 and 4 that I wrote. I blended 2 together because it's just a whole different world now. But it's one of the spinoffs I got going on, and I also have another spinoff for a firefighter based comic book as well, and then it's going to be for his mentor type character. He's not really his mentor like I guess like Batman is to Robin. It's a guy that you've seen potential in Chaz. They want him to become a superhero, but as you know, Chaz doesn't want to be a superhero at all. So it's kind of guy like, hey, come do this, come do that type of guy. But the draw for that is that it's a group of firefighters. Only two has powers. One has water-based powers, and the other one has fire-based powers. And they both have names. One name is Benjamin, the other guy's named Parker. So, but when the guy's in the view, his name is Chief because he done went up the ladder and became a chief firefighter. But he's always referred to as a chief. And I blended his appearance of the two characters together, so you don't know which character became a chief, and I won't show you his power until the last couple issues of the View. You'll see what power he has and who he really is. But until then, you will never know which one of these characters is a chief, because if you're familiar with Walking Dead, the two characters are like Shane and Rick.
Right.
So one character is going to turn heel, and the other one's going to stay hero. But the way I'm writing it, you will never know. It's going to be a mystery till then.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the things I really dug about the first issue too, going back to the work as a whole, was I saw you peppered little hints of the future along it. Right.
It's a lot. I like I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going to start, and I know where I'm going to end. So I know Chaz. It's going to be a 10-year story about Chaz. I know that for sure. So I know what the ending is, and I know what the beginning is. So right now it starts. He's been a hero for 1 year. So it's a whole slew of stuff that happened that first year. But I'm saving that until the comic. Well, really, I'm saving it until after issue 4. Like, I will see if people want me to do the origin, I can go that lane, or I can keep going where I'm going. But his origin, I wanted, if, like, say, Netflix came up with a deal, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna write that. I want that to be as a TV show, because it'll be better as a TV show, because it'll be more suspenseful and drama filled than reading it, because it's so much that I wrote down for his origin.
I really appreciate that you saved the origin story for later. I think it's a mistake that a lot of comic book people make nowadays, which is they want to introduce a new hero, and then you have to spend the first 3 issues sometimes, working their way up to finally becoming a superhero, and that's not how it was done back in the day. Superman is basically Superman from like the first page. They didn't even do Batman's origin story for the first 5 or 6 appearances of him. I mean, even when they did short origin stories for Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four, they were done in 4-6 pages, and then it was actually what you're there to do, which is have super fun adventures. And so Chaz, within the first few pages, he's whipping out his powers. We're getting invested into it, and there's even a little bit of mystery of, hey, how did he get his powers? So I do appreciate that I appreciate when creators either save the origin story or they get through it as quickly as possible and don't drag it out. But there's so many creators, I think, who make this mistake of, I need to do an entire first issue or even longer just to get to the point where people would be interested in the story.
Like, I will touch on his origin after issue 4. Like, it's gonna be like a callback, like a flashback type thing, kind of how they did for Homecoming, I believe. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. So, but it's like it's knowing what I know now, because I wrote it 3 years ago. It's gonna be hard for me to tell it without spoiling stuff, because it's a lot of surprises that I can't really touch on without spoiling the origin, like who he got his powers from, who the villain is, like in the overarching villain. Like on issue 2, y'all got digital copies, so y'all know the back page. I don't know y'all realize what the back page was from the second issue, but it shows the guy like in jail talking to like this demon-like figure. The demon-like figure is really the overarching villain of the whole, series.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like his main form, I guess you call it. But prior to, he had like a different kind of vessel he used. It's kind of like Sidious from Star Wars, something like that. So like in his origin, it's one of his people in the school with him. Like it could be his classmate, it could be his principal, his counselor, his gym teacher. You won't never know. And I float around that with like four different concepts. I have like the villain, somebody who's part of the silent, somebody's who's also a superhero, just like his. But you would like as a reader, you might see it, you might not know. You won't know who's what until certain parts of the story. Then you realize, oh, they were this hero. Like one spoiler I can say, because I haven't really wrote it out yet, but I know what I'm gonna do. I have a Batman-like character, but I'm gonna call it the Pigeon. So it's Batman, the Pigeon Man, something like that. And it's gonna be just like Batman to the T, but it's gonna be in the daytime because the Pigeon. But somewhere, I don't know, in the origin story or prior to, the guy dies. It's like dies, and somebody takes up the mantle of the Pigeon, but you don't know who it is, and that's gonna be a little surprising.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got an idea. Call him the Flock.
The Flock.
Yeah. You won't piss off anybody with that.
No, I got an idea really from that red rooster in the
Oh, did you?
We were just talking about that before you got here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Also, the Flock is a comic that Scott Wilson wrote, and he's going to be here in 2 weeks.
Oh.
I was just trolling.
So Twitless was trolling. But
I was thinking about the wrestling group in the WCW in the 90s.
Oh man.
That's what immediately came to me.
I'm not a wrestling fan. I didn't get it. So
But I have a lot of like little things in my story because and I already know how it starts and ends. I know what I want to put in there. Like it's really so much so like as a finished product, people gonna be like, oh man, he was talking about that way before. I can't think of the author where I got that style from.
trying to think of his name all of a sudden. Blanked on it. Wrote X-Men. Chris Claremont.
Yeah.
Chris Claremont. Well, I mean, like that was a standard way that comics, monthly comics were done back in the day. Denny O'Neil talks about it in the DC Comics Guide to Writing Comics. But Chris Claremont was a master of it, where he'd lay little threads along, and then he'd tell a little bit of story, and then each story, almost every issue, would stand on its own, but would have all these little breadcrumbs. And so then he'd go back and like you laid the breadcrumbs out, and then you go back like 6 months later. Oh, these are the breadcrumbs we're bringing forward now, and then we're going to tell that story that we started 6 months ago, and then we're going to lay more breadcrumbs for the next story. And
that's what I just ended up reading this not too long ago. Paul Kupperberg's. He wrote a whole bunch. I mean, he's written for every company, but he tells you how to do the same thing with this book.
Okay.
His Arion Lord of Atlantis miniseries, I loved that.
He talks about that in that book.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, you was gone when they asked me, but they said my book has some Spawn similarities to it. What do you say? What does my book have?
Well, I mean, I think the especially like in the first issue, the way he was using the grappling hook kind of felt a lot like Spawn's chains. The fact that he's facing off against these very demonic villains, gives that kind of thing. But I gotta be honest, like I think demons make great villains. And that's not just because I'm working with Nick Mueller on his Demon Hunter stories.
Contractually obligated.
I'm not contractually obligated. I'm working on them because I like them. But I think demons make really great stories. But one of the things, like your demon designs do, I can definitely, I wouldn't have picked up on it, thinking on it, but the demon designs don't, they're not unlike McFarlane's, right? But that's not, I mean, they don't look like McFarlane's necessarily, but they're not unlike McFarlane's. And I think that's a check it out. Speaking of Nick, look who just showed up.
Yes.
I was just gonna, just so you're not worried about. I mean, I was reminded a couple of times. Oh, this is like a little bit like Spawn. I was never like, oh, this is a lot like Spawn. It was very clear that you're doing your own thing.
Well, and one of the things, like I think one thing that's a little Spawn like, sorry, my mouse just disappeared. Anyway, one thing that's a little Spawn like is the way that like Chaz doesn't want to be a hero, but he finds himself in the middle of it and he's got to. And like that was kind of what was one of Spawn's things too.
Respawn? Is that what's going on here? I never read Spawn. I really never ever read
that's
Spawn.
Cool. Well, I don't think that that's a story that gets told often enough.
Okay.
Right. And like I'm not trying to like drag that down either, because like I think that that it's for one, like one of my irritations with especially the early stuff that I've read with McFarlane Spawn is that he seems to whine for so long in every issue, right? And I didn't see Chaz wasn't whining. he was just over it. He's just like, I got stuff to do, right? I got
he's definitely over it, because like in the point we are in the story, so much can happen. Like I can spoil stuff. Like it's better for my comic to spoil stuff. Have y'all ever watched Supernatural?
Yes.
So I think it was season 2. Sam had to go to like this little battleground with other people like him, had to fight. Do you remember that? The yellow-eyed demon had to make got all his children together to fight to be his next vessel.
So when I said I've seen Supernatural, I meant that I know of it, and I think I've seen one episode.
Okay, well,
so technically, I have seen Supernatural.
I'm trying to think.
It's the same way that I've been to Maryland.
Like that's a great example I have. Like, I can't think of no instance in any show or in any movie, but just say so he got put in this situation that he had to fight and kill other people that was like him, and for the fact that that this point in the world, just like in our world, like people can't kill, cops can't kill people, it's bad, So in their world, superpowers are considered like weapons. So you lighten on somebody, kill them, or you use your lightning, using a deadly weapon in public. So the villain's just running with it, and then you can kill heroes because heroes can't kill people, so they can just kill whoever. So is Chaz don't want to be a hero because of that and many other reasons. So him killing people, that's not something he's comfortable doing. So he had to do that and several other things. And so he's basically just numb to it. So and it gets worse over time. But so like all he wants to do is just not deal with it, to the point that there are villains in my story besides the Howl and the Silent. They're just regular run-of-the-mill villains that he has to deal with because he just encounters them like or I'm currently doing the story arc for issue 26 and beyond, and the chief is said, okay, you kind of screwed up, last month. Like you need to go back to square one doing this street hero stuff, and he's encountering villains again. But he doesn't want to do it. It's no profit, and like you don't get paid, to do it. You don't, it's not great. So he just is numb to the idea. So like he just over it. He read it. Like it's a point in the story that he's in school and a big event is happening. Like heroes is coming to stop at this villain and they can't do it. And he was like, ugh, I don't want to go do it and help. Then he said, oh, okay, this person come. They got it. They get hurt or killed or whatever. And he said, oh, well, I guess I had to leave. Oh, they coming. Oh, I'll stay here. And I'm thinking about how I was at school during 9/11, how we was at school watching the 9/11 stuff on TV. So I put that the same concept that they're sitting in the classroom watching this battle going on TV. And he's saying like, oh, okay, that hero came. They got it. Then eventually like, well, let me get off. I'll probably write it different now. Like I probably have like his friend look at him in the classroom or Kitiara look at him and says, hey man, you need to get up and handle your business type stuff, but eventually he has to go and fight the villain and stuff happens. I don't want to spoil that part with that stuff.
Right. Yeah. No, I think I have this weird theory. Maybe it's not weird, but I think it's weird. I think that hero stories are actually a way we tell each other how to be grown-ups, right? And the idea of rescuing the princess, the idea of saving the day, all that kind of stuff are metaphors that we tell each other to learn how to be adults and to handle responsibility. It's an idea I call the heroism of the mundane, right? And one of the things I like about the reluctant hero archetype, whether it's Spawn, Spider-Man, I think the View's got some of that in there. It's that like it's not always fun or exciting to do the things you got to do, right?
Yeah.
You just have to. I mean, if you got to pay your bills, you got to brush your teeth, you got to mow the lawn, you got to change the cat box. You got to. That's the stuff.
Yeah. You're starting to sound like the Red Skull school of heroism.
Clean your room.
Clean your room. Take a bath.
Yeah. But this thing is like, so I think that on the one hand, one way that people deal with their troubles is that the stoic, like Batman way of dealing with it, where it's like, well, it's got to be done, so I'm going to do it. But not everybody's that guy. And some people have to realize the real importance to their life and do it. And that's why I think the reluctant hero is such a great archetype, because that's one way people got to learn how to deal with their responsibilities. Like you said, take care of their business. I think that's an important one. So I think it's cool to see somebody tackling that.
Yeah, it to me, like where I'm at now, it got me to the point that I almost want to write a villain. Like is it you either gonna be Superman, you're gonna be a Batman, or Spider-Man. It's typically why how I see. Like I have, I don't think you interviewed them, but it's a comic book group called Concrete Comics. Their characters are very reminiscent of comic book characters. Like one character, he's like Spawn. Another character, he's like a Superman's cosmic, entity character. One character is just basically just a black Wonder Woman. They got a space character that is an alien. That shoots guns. It's just typical stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy type character. Basically, Groot. Just the same cookie cutter type stuff, and I wanted to stay away from that so much. So like, it's just y'all saying it's like Spawn. I was like, oh man, he's like he was like Spawn. Like, I try to stay away from that. Like, but like the biggest like thing that I wanted to like to get away from that nobody's noticed that is basically almost similar is the darkness. It's basically kind of like the darkness.
Oh yeah.
And like I just grew. That's one of the first comic books I seen and grew up with, you know, and so I can't think of the minions he controlled, but basically they're the Howl. Just on the flip side, like the Howlers can control them. They can spawn them and do whatever. They can create weapons, you know, just like he could. But it just is a spin on it. You know, they're on the opposite spectrum of the hero line, I guess.
You're right. Well, I mean, in a way, like there's nothing new under the sun, right?
Yeah.
Everything's been done in some ways, and it's just like, you know, the I don't know if you like the Beatles or not, but the Beatles, they were great, but all they did was Buddy Holly, right? In the beginning, that was like, you know, Buddy Holly had died and they picked up where he left off, like in musical exploration. And then, you know, then when they quit, you know, like, you know, Elvis Costello came in and then retread the same ground, and it was still really good, but it was still the same thing Buddy Holly was doing in the 50s, you know, in a lot of ways. And I think that all we can do is take the same in terms of writing. I do think that there's always going to be something that was like it before, but that doesn't mean it's the same as it was before.
Yeah.
Right. You know, look at even like the Black Bat is an old pulp character back in the 30s. He's very much like Batman, but he's also not. He's got his own flair. He's got his own history. I think that, so I think that if somebody takes a look and says, well, this reminds me of so-and-so, well, okay. Yeah. But if you've seen what I'm going to do with it,
there's also go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Well,
go ahead. I got in reading. I'm reading so much comics, so much manga right now. And I got to the point like I don't want to steal no like concept, but like you said, everything's been done before. So it just, do I want to stop reading? You know, just have my own thoughts, and I don't get influenced by other things. It just, I'm in a
don't worry about it.
Time right now. You know, it's just kind of reading. Like I'm currently reading Ten of Swords and the X-Men story, and it just certain things like, oh, you know, that was pretty good what they did, or I like that this panel they did. I mean, I could do something like that. You know, it just I see so much. You know, it's my vision is different now. It's just like I see stuff I want to influence in my comic books and make mine pop. You know, get mine on that prestigious level like everybody else's.
Yeah.
My advice is I wouldn't worry about it. What do they say? Great art is good art is borrowing. Great art is stealing and not getting caught. So I mean, it's you're fine. And I think there's also a big difference between, I was a little bit reminded of something else I read, because that just means that I can see a connection. There's a line between I'm reminded and I see a connection between something else I read, because like the green energy and I think the race of the character, for example, I thought of Spawn for a moment. I mean, he's fighting demons, so there's a couple of similarities. But there's also a lot of stuff that's different, because Spawn's character is
a dead demon character that fights.
Well, in life he was a cop, wasn't he? Was he a police officer?
He was like a mercenary or something, right?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
But so his origin story is completely different. You know, I thought a version of him was like a cop, or he's got some, or military. He's got some other like, you know, forceful background.
And he's younger too.
Exactly right. He's an older character. He dies. He makes a deal with the devil to get these powers, but he also works against that demon. And so there's similarities, but it's very clear that you did something different.
Yeah.
You know, it would be a big difference if your character was, you know, and your character's look is also very different too. Your character has this very kind of, you know, he
doesn't have a huge cape flowing.
Right.
Yeah, actually
DIY. He kind of like cobbled together his own costume. Again, it would be a huge difference if you had basically copied Spawn's look, copied his origin, and only tweaked a couple things. Because people do that in comics all the time. You know, they change just a couple minor details and, you know, spin it off as a new character. So it's very obvious that you didn't do that. So again, I would not worry about it at all. Comics is all about stealing ideas anyway. So you're in good company, even if that were the case, but it's not for you.
Well, and I want to totally change subjects for a second too, because one of the things that really hit me about it, that I love about the View's like look, right, is and you know, there's a big debate about this in comic fan circles, but I loved like practical, tactical, like outfits, right?
Right.
They're not for everybody, but like for some characters, and they're not for every character, but for some characters, like it just makes sense, right? Like there was a cover of Batman way back when I was a kid where like every pouch on Batman's belt was different because it was a different tool, and I was like, ooh, that's amazing. So the fact that the View's costume looks like something that he's keeping in his back pocket when he's going around places, right?
It's even less than that. Do you get to see it? Well, actually, it's just his shirt. He just takes his shirt off and ties it around his head because, like you said, everybody's like his costume because it's practical.
Yeah.
And I got the concept of. I assume y'all are much older than I am, but when I was in school, like we wore basketball shorts underneath our pants for some reason. Like I guess we just thought we was gonna play basketball like at any given time. So I just thought about how like I sweaty it got like that, how like you roll up under your pants and you got to pull it out, like stuff like that. So I thought of the same concept, like okay, if I'm a superhero, thinking like Superman or Spider-Man, I got the whole costume underneath my full set of clothes. I got a whole leotard under this, and how that confident feel throughout the day. And like with Superman, like how many shirts he don't bust open and he can't wear no more. Or
he buys them in bulk.
Or Spider-Man, he hides the clothes like in his alley, and some bum just comes and takes the clothes. Now he's stuck with his brand new polo shirt he just bought. So
well, and they've used that in comics before. Like there's like in the 70s, there was a couple of stories where Spider-Man ended up having his costume stolen because he left it in an alley.
Yeah. So like I thought a concept. So like the View, he has a costume. Like I mean, I'm gonna incorporate it sometime. Like in the origin, he's giving it, you know, he uses it, but and then his name, like he's popping in the public like last two or three battles, you know, people start videotaping in the fights, and that's how his name come about. But them images from the videos is what he wears now, like just a shirt. So I mean, he just decided to keep wearing it because like if something happens, he don't want to run out there and everybody be like, "Hey, that's Chaz Johnson. Like I go to school with him." Like, what can I use? And I might have like a running gag, like he might use he thinking about what to put on his head, and he thinks about like pantyhose or a brown paper bag, just stuff like that. He's like, I can use my shirt. And so basically his shirt, and then next thing you see is his shirt on his head, and next thing you see is his actual shirt, which is Under Armour, because you know he's an athlete and it's something he's mobile and you know keeps him, you know, good. So that's that. Then just a pair of random jeans and shoes. And like I said, like as it goes on, he gonna have to start getting padding because he does have some kind of healing factor, but it's way slower than we know from comics.
Yeah.
But he said, well, maybe I need to start wearing these elbow pads or this padding in my shirt. So you're gonna start seeing more of that, but it's going to be more on line of his powers. Like he gets more control of his powers, so the items last more than a minute. So he can spawn those patterns real quick. So his shirt won't look all bulky throughout the day. He's like, oh, well, time to suit up, and he can spawn those things on the shirt.
That's the. So Chaz, why are you walking around in football gear? I thought you played soccer. He's like, wait. Nothing at all. I just trying a lookout, trying something new.
Yeah.
I'm a dad. I'm a dork. So, but anyway, so cool, man. So, it's either going to be real soon or May.
Yeah, May, early May for sure, but real soon. Like I want to get it. I want to see how my presence has been within the last year. Can I get funds up, or what's gonna happen? I really want to see. Like, it won't be a stopping point for me, but I just want to see where I sit at in this in the industry.
So Evie just shows up just to leave again. Fine. Be that way. That's cool. Well, it's about 9 o'clock here. It's later wherever actually none of you are in my time zone. It's later where all of you are.
Yeah.
But I haven't had supper yet, so I'm going to go ahead and take off.
I'd die if I didn't have supper yet.
Well, yeah. I had a late lunch. It's okay. Specs, thanks so much for coming on. Your book, like I said, it looks great. I've got a complex story, and the issues I've looked at, you're piecing it along so people can pick it up wherever and feel like they're getting a full something out of it, which is something a lot of monthly comics from the big two don't do.
Yes.
They make you feel guilty if you don't pick up every issue. Listen, Tom King, I'm talking to you. Anyway, we will have to have you on back again. Come back sometime when tell us how it went.
I will do, man. I appreciate you having me on here.
Absolutely, man. For Captain Cummings and Twitless, thank you guys for coming along and filling in the gap when my computer did its death dance over there. I got to figure out what's going on with this thing. It's getting frustrating. Anyhow, normally I let everybody else shill, but I'm just not going to tonight. I'll do one quick thing. See here. Hey, look, it's Twitless's webcomic. And this one's mine. You can pause it on replay. Night, everybody.
Good to meet you all.